I read The Wedding People. Don't know who it's from. I took the cover off. Oh, actually, it's going to tell me in here.
Who it's by?
I was like, I took the cover off, so literally I have no idea.
The author's like,
isn't it on the spine too?
Yeah, I'm so dumb.
Allison Espach?
I just was like, I'm
Espach.
I'm such a genius.
amazing.
So cute.
Okay, so it's called The Wedding People. What do you think this book's going to be about?
Okay. I think I have two thoughts. One
Let's hear them out.
is let's hear 'em out. Why not? Kind of like a Wedding Crashers type of book.
Okay.
That's one option. The other option is like cult. Like we are the wedding people. Like and we have wedding rituals and that sort of thing. Those are my two thoughts.
I'm picturing like the singles table at a wedding.
Okay.
But I've heard this is really good.
You were both wrong.
Oh.
It's about somebody who wants to end her own life.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice
Totally
job, Allison.
opposite.
Allison Espach.
Okay, so we meet Phoebe.
Phoebes. Her friends call her Phoebes.
We're not friends.
I'm her friend.
That she wants to end her own life. She's feeling just obviously depressed. She's recently divorced in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. It's right during the pandemic, not during quarantine, but COVID's very much still a thing, and we all know what that was like, right?
It's a shame.
Her husband, when they were married, they had this long journey with IVF. It was unsuccessful every time. I think they did 6 rounds.
Yeah.
So she's down about that. She is an adjunct professor, but she's just an adjunct. She's not a tenure professor. Her ex-husband is tenure, so it was always kind of this competition, tension between them, and she just is not progressing in her career. Her personal life is obviously done in 180. She's feeling stressed about finances. Just life has dumped on her.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry, her cat has died.
Oh.
So she's just
giving Midnight Library vibes.
Yeah, kind of.
So far.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she decides to book this one night extravagant evening. She goes to the Cornwall, which is in Newport, Rhode Island.
The Cornwall?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Abby.
Abby, you knew that we needed you because we just talked about one of your people.
I heard my cousin died.
Say that again. What?
I heard my cousin died. What happened?
Also, you guys remind me, so Phoebe's the main character. Her ex-husband is Matt.
Uh-huh.
And they talk, so they don't have kids, so their cat is their family. And they at family dinners when she's like, oh, I'm feeling bummed about this. And he's like, well, you can't be sad because we have Henry and that's their cat. And I feel like that's something you guys
It's true.
And then they have a voice for their cat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. I guess it's a cat thing.
Also, if anyone's watching this, comment below if you have pets. Comment below if you have a voice for your pet. Because I think most people do. It doesn't have to be a cat, just any pet.
We grew up with dogs and never once.
Really? I grew up with dogs every time.
Nope, not me.
I'm trying to remember.
I actually remember that I didn't have voices for my pets until I was in a relationship with them.
So it's an Adam thing. It's not a cat person.
And an Allison Espach one.
I'm sure you're not the only family, but yeah.
Anyway,
We love our pets, and we hope you do too. Sorry, Phoebe.
Cat is dead. Phoebe's cat.
Phoebe books this extravagant night. It's $1,000 a night, something like that. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to go to this fancy hotel I've always wanted to go, but Matt is too smart with his money and never would. So she's like, I don't have to listen to him. I'm going to spend my money how I want. I'm going to order room service, get the most expensive meal, and then take my cat's pain pills all at once. Boom. Beautiful, happy ending is what she's picturing. Okay?
I was on board until that.
Shows up to this hotel, checks in, and surprise, surprise, there's a wedding going on.
Oh.
Everyone at this hotel is there for the wedding.
So it's kind of Wedding Crasher, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So she checks in, gets in the elevator to go to her room, and she ends up in the elevator with the bride. The bride's like, hi, are you from Gary's side of the family, which is the groom? And Phoebe's like, no. So she's like, oh, are you from
My
my son? Yeah. And she's like, no. And then the bride a little bit has a freak out and was like, what the hell? Like,
Who are you at? Why
this is supposed to be like my wedding. Like, it's supposed to only be
we
like
rented out the
my
Exclusive,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And Phoebe's like, well, I don't know, but I just called this morning and they had a room available, so I booked it. Like, take it up with the hotel.
Yeah.
And Lila's like, well, what are you even doing here? Like, you're not supposed to be here. And so Phoebe's like, well, actually, I'm here to end my own life, so you don't even have to worry about me.
That's
Like,
bold for her to just tell her that.
I know, right? And so obviously Lila's like, no, you're not. And Phoebe's like, bitch, yeah, I am. Like, bye.
Like, you don't know me, and what a bitch.
Yeah.
I have nothing to lose here, ma'am.
Literally, right? So Phoebe goes to her hotel, goes, throughout her night, calls for room service, but they've paused room service because they're focusing on the opening reception. Now, this is like a wedding week. They're there for the whole week.
Gosh, who is this family?
And then, I know, millions of dollars spent, and there's like an event every day. And so this is just the opening reception to welcome everybody. So they paused room service for that. So Phoebe's feeling even more depressed because she's like, I don't even get a big fancy meal. All I have is like vending machine food, and she's starving. So she's just like, this is not going according to plan. So she's just kind of like having a pity party. And who shows up?
The husband.
The bride,
Oh,
Lila.
okay.
Her name's Lila.
To her room.
Okay. Yep. She just got a key from and just walks in.
Cute.
And he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, so I've decided you're not going to end your own life. You're going to come to my wedding, and then in a week you can do it. And he's like, no.
I won't let you ruin my wedding, young lady.
Yes, exactly. And Phoebe's like, first off, I can't afford this, so no. And Lila's like, girl, I'm paying. And so Phoebe's like, who are you?
Lila.
Well, Phoebe's like literally has nothing left to lose.
Right.
And Phoebe noticed this like from the moment she met Lila, she had food stuck in her teeth and it was still there. And so she's like, how has no one told her? Like, the groom hasn't said anything, her mom hasn't said anything, what the heck? And so Phoebe's just like annoyed of this girl just like making herself known. And so she was like, by the way, you have food stuck in your teeth. And Lila's like, no one's told me all day long. Like, freaks out about this. So she calls down the front desk, hey, bring me some floss. And they're like, oh, we don't have any. We got to go buy some. We'll be up in 30 minutes. So Lila's like, great, I'll still be here. And Phoebe's like, no, get out. Like, I got plans.
And also, could you not just go to the mirror and be like, got it?
Valid. I didn't even think about that.
I'm going to wait for my floss.
Also,
There you go.
I'm paying $1,000 a night, and you're not going to have floss
Yeah.
ready for me?
This is a $1,000 a night hotel. You don't have
That's
complimentary.
like the bare minimum.
Yeah. Oh, what a clown.
Yeah. Anyway, so she's just hanging out with this bride,
Okay.
waiting for her to leave, okay? And they a little bit like, I mean, obviously, you're talking for 30 minutes, you get to know each other, whatever. And
Right.
Lila complains about her mom, and like Phoebe's like picking up on like, okay, this is like a picture perfect wedding, but things aren't as perfect as they seem, right?
Sure.
So then Lila leaves, she gets her floss, she goes to the reception, whatever, and Phoebe's like, okay, here we go. Takes a bunch of pills, and is laying in her bed, and as she's laying there, she hears mother of the bride get up to make a speech.
Okay, hold on. Pause. So she's just kind of says, screw you, I'm not doing this whole week thing, and that night still tries to do it? Or did you say she goes to the week? I'm sorry.
No, this night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, also, come on, Phoebes. Take advantage of the week. But
I kind of thought the same thing.
like, you're going out. You might as well have like the best week on someone else's
But
dime.
also, she knew if she didn't do it tonight, she wasn't going to do
fair,
it.
Yeah.
fair.
Mhm.
So, two things. One, she knows the dynamic between the bride and the mother, so she's a little bit like intrigued. And two, she's a sucker for a love story. So she's laying there, and the mother-in-law's speech starts out kind of like awkwardly, like she's kind of like,
How can she hear it again?
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like, it's kind of like, you have like a courtyard in the
Yes,
hotel.
That's what
it
I
is.
pictured.
That's how I
Yeah,
have it.
yeah. So yeah, I imagine the like courtyard is like
Adjacent to her window or something. where she
yes,
can hear
and I
it.
imagine there's like a microphone and
Yeah.
speakers, right? But I a little bit was like, wow, that's like you have no privacy.
She
in
could
this
have had her
hotel?
window open or something too. You know.
Yeah. So the mother-in-law starts the speech off kind of awkwardly, like she's kind of like a little bit like poking fun of the bride, like, y'all know my daughter, she's not the easiest to get along with, kind of thing. And
Gosh.
Phoebe's like, come on, like, this is your daughter's wedding, like, gotta like say stuff happy. And so as she's laying there getting very sleepy, she's like, she has to tie it in at the end. Like she has to turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting there like bummed that she's not going to hear the end of the speech. And then she's like, what the hell am I doing? So she stands up, throws up. Here's the end of the speech. The speech ends beautifully. And then she falls asleep and wakes up and it's 3 a.m. And so she's like, oh, okay. Like I didn't go through with this.
Oh man.
So now she has this moment of like, she feels like she's on borrowed time. Like she was like, this was going to be an ending, but now I can be whoever I want. I have this like fresh start. And Lila, before she left Phoebe's room, basically was like, Phoebe, don't go through with this. Like, wait a week, whatever. And Phoebe's like, no, I'm very much going through with this. So Lila was like, well, my father used to always tell me something along the lines of like, well, what else can you do? Because if like Lila was ever like sad about something, the dad basically was like, well, yeah, like you can feel sad about this and you can feel down about this, but what else can you do?
There's always something we can do.
Yes, exactly. And so Phoebe wakes up and is like, okay, well, what else can I do? So
Sure.
She's like, I'm going to take a bath. I have this big fancy bathroom, but there was no floss. There's no bathtub stopper. Okay?
What a rip.
She's spending $1,000 and she doesn't have these basic needs.
Okay.
So then she's like, well, frick. Guess I'm going to the hot tub. Okay? So she goes to the hot tub, relaxing, and some guy shows up.
Of course he does.
And it's like still like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's super attractive. And remember, she's on borrowed time. So she's like, I have this opportunity to do and be whoever you want.
I'm going to
So
get down.
the old Phoebe used to be like, oh, somebody's here. It's a stranger. I'm going to leave. Like, I'm good. I had my time. The old Phoebe used to like see this attractive man and be like, no way he'd be interested in me. Like, I'm not even going to talk to him. But now she's like, I'm going to stay. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to talk to this
like,
guy.
what's the worst that
hang
could
out.
happen? I get embarrassed a little bit or
Yep.
something?
It's like the
Exactly.
Bucket List movie or whatever. Not the Bucket List. What's the one with Queen Latifah?
The Last Holiday.
Last Holiday, yeah.
Yes,
That
this
one.
is exactly
That's that
like
vibe.
that. Yeah. So talking, connecting, and as like she's getting ready to leave, she's like, well, I want to sleep with you. So what do you say? And he's like, no.
Oh, come on, bro.
And so Phoebe's like, oh, are you in a relationship? And he's like, yeah, I am. So she's like, okay, well, I tried. Bye. Goes to bed.
Well,
Shoot your shot.
At least he's the kind of guy who says no when he's in a relationship.
I know, right?
You miss 100% of shots you don't take.
So the next morning, guess who shows up?
That guy.
Lila.
Oh.
I told you you would go through it there. All right, so now welcome to the wedding week. Like, you're now one of the wedding people.
Cute.
That's the name, right?
Nice.
Cute.
She's like, we're all going sailing, so let's go sailing. Okay? Shows up.
This is cool. I'd be like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Can someone rich come into my life the next time I'm depressed, please?
Okay, but don't get so depressed that you get to that point, please.
Yeah.
Still, I'd like a really rich friend.
Me too, actually.
I think everyone deserves a really rich friend. Even really rich friends deserve a really rich friend. Like,
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that
would
was
love.
deep.
I would love to be a really rich friend.
I was just gonna say, let's just manifest that this
Yeah.
makes success, and then we can be each other's rich
Done.
friends.
Easy. I love it.
So she goes sailing with the wedding people, and she sees hot guy from
Is he the groom?
hot tub, and he's the groom.
Oh my gosh!
I'm shocked you guys didn't predict
I
that.
know. Oh
Why
my
did I
gosh!
think of that? I don't know.
Oh my
I don't
God.
because the second
dude.
she was like relaxing in the hot tub and somebody walks in, I was like, oh, that's totally the groom. And then when they were
Oh,
like
bro.
a little connecting, I was like, oh my gosh, it's totally the groom.
That's
And then when she was like, well, I want to sleep with you, I was like, no, Phoebe. So Gary is the groom. Okay. Lila's the bride. Phoebe's the imposter. Gary was previously married and his wife has since passed, and he has a daughter named Melanie, but they call her Juice. Juice is a nickname from her mom when she was really young, had a lot of energy, and so she was always like, what juice are you on? So they just started calling her Juice.
That's a cute nickname.
And so they call her Juice. So they're all on the sailboat. Same with Gary's sister, Marla. Gary's best man, which is his wife's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then two friends from high school that went with Lila to high school, right?
Okay.
I said that really awkwardly, but we got there, okay? So before they get on the boat, Juice is hysterically crying. And I'm sorry, her dog has died.
This book's rough.
But
Rough if you're a pet.
How old is Juice?
Like 10-ish.
Okay. Yeah.
But not a real dog. It's like one of those like Neopet like
Oh.
plastic dogs. And she's devastated because it was a gift from her mom that she's been keeping alive because she's feeling very nostalgic towards her mom, struggling that her dad's getting remarried. And this animal that has been there has just died. So obviously Gary's like, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. Like, I'll get you a new one. And Juice is like, I don't want a new one. I want mine back. And then he's like, well, I'll just give you a real dog. And she's like, I don't want a real dog.
Yeah.
Juice is kind of like inconsolable, right? And Lila and Juice don't have this like super great connection.
Oh no. Are we going that direction? Oh no.
Just listen.
Okay. And remember, Phoebe's cat has just died.
Oh yeah.
So she's like, I get it, Juice. Like, I just lost my cat. What if we go have like a funeral memorial on the ship? Like, let's like remember our dog, right? And Juice instantly warms up to Phoebe. Okay.
Oh, I know. I can see it.
I'm shocked.
Stars.
I'm shocked you didn't see that when you were like, oh, I pictured the groom, and then I was like, get there.
There it is. What a shame. What's that movie with what's her face? Cameron Diaz and Julia Roberts, I think.
My Best Friend's Wedding.
This is what's happening. This was my best friend's wedding situation.
Is it?
I have never seen the movie. The groom, he's gonna fall for the best friend. They're not best friends.
My Best Friend's Wedding does not end happily.
Never seen it.
Okay.
Wouldn't know. Someone die?
No.
Oh, we're all right.
Doesn't it? She doesn't get
Right.
picked.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't get the guy.
All right. Break my heart.
We have lost a member, gained a member.
And her face is probably dead center.
Okay, so they're on the boat. They have this beautiful, like, little moment. Juice shares her favorite memories and thanks the dog for being there for her.
Okay.
Dad shares something. Uncle Jim, remember the wife's brother?
Uh-huh.
He shares something. Drop it in the ocean. It's just beautiful. And Phoebe has this moment where she never really processed the loss of her cat, never really said goodbye. She just was like, well, my cat's gone. I'm going to go, right? So she's able to like process and like just has this like emotional moment too, right? And kind of just feeling grateful for the first time in a while. Like she's been feeling so crappy about things.
Good news.
Beautiful moment. So Phoebe now becomes the maid of honor because Lila's best friend Vivian.
Best friend's wedding.
It's so best friend's wedding. I think I could give a different movie.
Does Julia Roberts not get picked then in that movie?
Mm-mm.
He sticks with Cameron Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe she doesn't get picked. Cameron Diaz and Rupert Everett.
Mm-mm. Now you know we're spoiling 2 endings tonight. So Vivian can't come to the wedding anymore because her son has COVID.
Oh.
It's during the
era.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Lily, nope. Lila is super like annoyed, bummed, like my best friend can't come.
Ruining.
And she chooses Phoebe because Lila can be whoever she wants around Phoebe. Around other people, she kind of has to put on this facade.
Yeah.
Her friends from high school that are there, she's lost contact with. Like she was like once really good friends, but they're not really good friends anymore.
Sure.
So she chooses Phoebe. So now Phoebe is officially part of the wedding.
All right,
okay? They go to the bachelorette party, have a great time. They come back and they're super wasted, super drunk. And
never good.
Lila can't even like open her own like room key because she's that drunk.
Toasty.
And so Phoebe's like, just come to my room. They're drunkenly having conversation. And Lila admits that she's not sure she wants to marry him.
Really?
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
Phoebe's even like, okay, that's interesting because Phoebe's not going to admit that she's interested in Gary, but we know she's interested in Gary, right?
And what happened to her husband again? Phoebe's husband?
Divorce.
Okay.
Yep. So that's out there, right?
Okay, yep.
They go to sleep. Turns out Lila snores.
Oh.
So Phoebe's like, I can't handle this. Finds her room key, goes to her room.
Oh,
and
shit.
Like, I'm going to get a good night's sleep. And guess who shows up?
Gary.
Okay, so they have a little bit of like conversation connection.
Oh boy.
Gary, who's also a little drunk, also admits he's not sure he wants to marry
Oh gosh.
So
Now Phoebe's stuck
Phoebe's
in the
like, oh, they're both questioning. I wonder if they're going to call off the
middle.
wedding.
The wedding's tomorrow? The next day?
No,
Okay.
it's a whole week
That's
thing, right? So Phoebe wakes up and Lila's just like, okay, let's on to the next thing. And Phoebe's like, oh, the wedding's still on. And Lila's like, yeah, of course the wedding's still on. I did not spend millions of dollars. Like, and I love him, right? So then again, she's the maid of honor, so she has this like whole to-do list of things to do. And one of her like tasks is to help Juice find open-toed shoes. Because all Juice packed were these nasty, ugly boots.
Okay.
Okay. Now, while they're shopping, Phoebe finds out the reason why Juice is so anti like open-toed shoes is because Juice feels like Lila is so conceited and obsessed with the way she looks, obsessed with like her pedicures and making sure her feet are clean. And Juice wants nothing to do with Lila and wants to be nothing like Lila.
Wow.
Right? So Phoebe's like, okay, there's obviously tension within this. But also, like, you can't wear these nasty shoes.
Sure.
Whatever. Like, it's just feet. Like, you can be whoever you want to be, and you can choose what your feet say about you. Like,
yeah.
It's fine. So they're again a little bit having this like
little bond,
connection,
little moment,
right?
Little wedding shoe moment.
Yep. Another task that she's assigned to do as the maid of honor is to go get the tuxedo tailored with Gary.
Okay.
And do a bunch of other errands with Gary because Gary hurt his back. And one of the things that they have to go do is get some champagne, and he can't carry the box, and it's just this whole thing, right? Justifying why Phoebe needs to have another connection with Gary, right?
Another moment, a little champagne moment.
So again, they go do these errands, and it's very easy, very natural. Things just flow. They're able to like joke with each other, like it's just
natural, easy,
exactly, right? Soon thereafter, they have the rehearsal dinner. Okay. Now, let me just like remind you of the dynamics. Okay. Lila is marrying Gary. Gary has a daughter named Juice.
Yep.
And obviously, Lila has a mom, right? Dad has since passed. I don't think I've said that.
Okay.
Okay. But mom is there. Phoebe is now the maid of honor. Jim is the best man. Jim, do you remember who Jim is?
The uncle? It's Phoebe's sister? No, it's not Phoebe. Lila's sister? Brother?
No.
Oh.
Jim is Gary's brother-in-law.
Got it. Okay.
Brother of
his
deceased wife. How do you say that, like, cordially?
Gary's deceased wife's brother is Jim.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. No. And then Marla is Gary's sister. Okay. So they're at this reception dinner. And Lila has everything like planned to the T, right? Like we're gonna have this like 6-course meal with all these palate cleansers, and we're gonna finish dinner at this time, and then we're gonna go to the beach, and there's gonna be this beautiful fireworks show. Well, not everything's going according to plan. They're running behind schedule. They're gonna be late to the fireworks show, and tension is just prevalent.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask who comes from money? Is it Gary's side?
No, Lila's father has passed, and I assume he had money.
Okay.
I assume he probably had a life insurance. They have money. One, he was in the waste services.
Okay, waste management.
Management, but they also just like accumulated art, and they have this like art gallery, and there's a lot of money in art. So they just have money, but it's Lila that has the money.
The finer taste.
The way Lila met Gary is through the art gallery. Gary had bought, but really was gifted, this picture, which ended up being this like abstract, naked photo of her mom.
Oh.
So Lila hated it because she was like, why did you pose naked for this like artist? Like, that's weird. Why are you displaying it? That's weird. So when Gary came in and took interest, Lila was like, sure, you can have it. Like, it's yours. And this was before they started dating.
Right.
Okay. A week later, Lila's dad is sick, and they're going to a doctor to get a second opinion. Guess who the doctor is? Gary.
Oh.
So they both take this as like a sign, like, hey, we met at the gallery now. So they kind of just started dating from this. But then Gary had this naked
picture of
her mom, which is weird, right? And now his soon-to-be mother-in-law. Anyway, so they bring the photo to re-gift it back to the mom.
Okay.
And Lila hates this picture, right? So that brings some tension, and things are just super tense with her mom anyway. Because they're running late on time, Jim had written a best man speech, and Phoebe had written a maid of honor speech, which she knew her for 2 days. What are you going to say? But they're like super pressed for time, and so they're like, we're going to have to cancel the speeches. And like Jim's like, hell no, I'm still going to share my speech. So he stands up, which of course pisses Lila off. And he stands up and he's like, I have all of these great things to say about Gary. Like, he was a wonderful husband to my sister, wonderful friend. We went through like the worst thing together. He's always been there for me. Praise, praise, praise. But there is one thing he's not good at. He is not a good wingman.
Okay.
We find out the reason why they went to this art gallery is because Jim saw Lila, took interest, and was like, hey, let's go to this art gallery because he wanted to meet
No
Lila.
way. Okay.
And when Lila finds this out, she can read between the lines what that means.
Oh, boy.
Okay? And the whole week, there hasn't been tension between Jim and Lila, but they kind of like would bicker like siblings.
Okay.
And obviously things are very natural with them.
Yeah.
So it's just this moment of like,
oh,
I'm already questioning marrying Gary.
Yes, and now
should I have been with Jim?
Yeah.
So that's happening
Did the
at
star,
the reception.
they nearly aligned and we just missed it slightly.
Or misread the signs. Yep. Again, they're running super late. And so the staff is trying to get them out to the fireworks on time. So they omit the palette cleansers. Mm-hmm. And Lila's like, hell no. I spent all of this money on these palette cleansers. You can't just not serve us these palette cleansers. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to donate it? Are you going to give me my money back? Right?
Yeah.
And Jim's like, shut the fuck up. It's just a palette cleanser. Like, it's not a big deal. You always whine about these little things, and Gary just lets you get away with it. Like, stop. And stands up to Lila, right? And it's just this, like, big, contentious moment. Okay? To top it off, Juice had been stealing people's drinks and getting drunk on wine.
Little 10-year-old
she's like
Juice.
10. And so Gary's like, what the hell? You're drunk? And then she throws up everywhere. And so he's like, you're drunk and now you're sick. So Marla steps in, which is the sister, and is like, I will take care of your daughter.
Yeah. She's
in good hands. She threw it all up, so we're good. Like, she's not going to get poisoned. You go to the fireworks with your bride. Enjoy the night. We're good.
Yeah.
So Lila and Gary leave. It's terrible end to a terrible night, right?
Kind of a mess.
So after Juice throws up, Marla's like, okay, like, I can't actually do this. And Phoebe's like, I got this, okay?
Oh, gosh.
So Phoebe
takes to the rescue.
Juice to her room, and shortly thereafter, Gary shows up.
To Juice's room?
To Phoebe's room, which is where Juice is.
Okay.
And is like, there's no way I can enjoy the fireworks knowing my daughter is sick and needs me. Obviously, he's a stand-up dad. Like, his priority should be with his daughter.
Yeah.
Also with his bride, but like time and place, you know. So as they're talking, again, Gary's kind of like,
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of questioning. And there's like a moment between them where Gary's even like, I don't know, like, we've kind of been connecting all week, like, just really questioning things.
Yeah.
And then there's a knock at the door, and guess who shows up?
Oh, is it freaking Lila?
No.
Jim.
No.
Whom?
Matt, her ex-husband.
What?
I know.
What the heck?
So Gary's like, okay, I'm going to take my daughter back to our room.
Matt's going to throw a wrench in everything. Because Matt's a douche.
Exactly. Okay? Phoebe's like, what the hell? Why are you here? How are you here? How did you find me?
Yeah.
And Matt was like, you went dark. Like, you didn't show up to work. You sent a super cryptic email to the, like, director.
That's right.
Like,
we thought you were dead.
I went to the house. Our cat's dead. I assume you know that. Like, I don't know what happened. I've been trying to call you. I've been trying to text you. Like, you haven't, like, been responding. So I checked our bank statements because they still have joint whatever. and saw you booked this flight, saw you booked this hotel, so here I am. Like, are you okay? What is happening?
Yeah.
Right? And Phoebe's like, why? Like, that still doesn't explain why you're here. Like, it's been 2 years. You haven't checked on me in the last 2 years. Why are you now checking on me?
Yeah.
And Matt is like, well, I've kind of been thinking about things, and I messed up.
Oh gosh, it's
I
been
made
2
a
years,
mistake.
Matt.
Exactly.
No contact.
Right?
You're done, so.
Right? But he's familiar.
Of course.
Phoebe very much was still in love with them when they got a divorce. They got a divorce because Matt cheated and wanted to be with his mistress, who ended up being Phoebe's best friend. So it was super messy.
Sure.
So she did not want the divorce. She very much still loved him when they got a divorce. So one thing leads to another, and
boink. ...
Yep. Okay. The next morning, she's obviously wakes up in bed with Matt, and she's like, well, I got this wedding to go to. Bye. Right? Like, we'll see you later. She goes to bride's room, and they're all getting ready for the wedding, and Jim shows up with these palette cleansers.
He saved all the palette cleansers?
He went and, salvaged them.
Weird gesture. Nice. Also weird. I saved all the palette cleansers for you.
But romantic, maybe?
Maybe.
And he comes and he's like, turns out, because remember, he like freaked out at her and was like, give it up, it's just a freaking palette cleanser, right? Yep. So he comes and he's like, turns out I was wrong. They legitimately were just going to throw all of these out. I know you spent money on this. Like, it's a very minute thing to worry about, but also valid to worry about. Like, you did spend money on this, right? And so he was like, I was wrong. I salvaged these. Here's the palette cleansers you spent money on. See you at the wedding. Bye.
Do with these what you will.
Right? And remember,
but Lila probably loved that.
Lila was a little bit like, oh, am I with the wrong person? Yeah. Okay. And Phoebe's even like, are we still going through with the wedding? Like, are things called off? Like, what does this mean? But Lila's like, no, I love Gary. I'm still going to go through with this. They've been planning this wedding for like 2 years, and things just kept like delaying it, like the pandemic and things like that. So she was like, I honestly didn't think I would make it to this day. I thought something would happen where we would have to cancel the wedding again because that's how it's been for 2 years. Turns out nothing's gotten in the way. So like, it's a sign. I'm here. I'm going to marry Gary. We love each other. We're happy enough. Yeah. I'm going to go through with this. Okay. So she goes downstairs, and the car that's there to pick them up to take them to the wedding is like a 2002 Mercedes. Mm-hmm. But Lila wanted a vintage car. So she shows up and she's like, what is this? This isn't
vintage, yeah.
And then she's like, that's it. That's the sign.
Oh, please.
I know. She's spoiled, remember? Okay. And Phoebe's like, well, no, like, it's just a car. Like, it's like not a big, like, trying to convince her. And Lila's like, no, I'm not going to go through with this. I don't know what I'm going to do. So then Phoebe's like, okay, she's set in this, so I just need to be supportive. And she's like, no, you know what to do. You're going to go travel. You're going to go try something new. Like, you'll be okay. So then Phoebe goes to the wedding, tells everyone, hey, they're not getting married today. And of course, there's all of the like
the dramas, yeah.
Right? And Gary is obviously devastated. She is able to like reconnect with Gary, and they're able to like connect a little bit more openly, a little bit more like friendly. And Phoebe had decided to officially like close the door with Matt when he was like, I'm questioning things. I made a mistake. She's like, no, you're my past now. She's decided to move to the area. She's not going to go for professorship anymore. She's going to start these new career journeys. And it kind of leaves the door open for her and Gary, but that's not how the story ends. It kind of just leaves like, hey, well, I'm going home. Like, we'll see you later. And then same with like Jim and Lila. Like, it never ends with like, oh, and Lila and Jim end up together, but it kind of leaves the door open. So you kind of assume Lila's going to end up with Jim. Phoebe's going to end up with Gary. But it doesn't explicitly say that.
And that's how it
just
ends.
assumes. Yep, and that's how it ends.
Huh.
So it ends.
Interesting.
Happy. Yeah.
You think they'll do a second?
I don't think so, because you basically know how it's going to end. Okay. If they were to do a second, like, what would they say? Like, surprise, Phoebe and Gary are together, you know? They could do a second, and it could be about, like, their wedding and, you know, things, but, you know.
I guess that's a cute ending. At first I was like, oh, that's a little anticlimactic. Like, I expect the
running in the rain.
It's over, and but it's more real. Like, okay, am I really gonna run towards this guy who just like my wedding just didn't happen? I'm gonna go to this lady I met for 3 days ago. You know what I mean? Like, probably not. So I can get on board with that. That's cute. I like it, and I like that it ends happy. Like everyone's in a good place, in a good path.
No one died.
No one died. Awesome. Fair enough. The wedding people.